better in a group fostering that first. And you're saying like you want to create a space for all other creatives. Do that in agency. Be a really great, work your way up and be a really great design director. What's going on? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too, man. I'm super stoked for this. I appreciate your time. I can send my portfolio, but it's so shocking. But maybe it will give you a bit of insight into the situation that I'm actually in.
Okay. And
Okay.
where I don't have to pull it up. I just wanted to see.
No, I'm actually in Europe. I'm in Gibraltar, so in like the south of Spain.
Okay, cool. All right, what do we want to talk about then?
Yeah, basically, I'm kind of a bit like stuck about what the next step is for me because I feel like I've been in the industry. I've been in the industry for like 2 years now, working in like a small branding agency, and I'm very like aware of the kind of work that I want to make, but I would say that I don't have like one specific skills. I feel like I'm much stronger on like the ideas side of things and the sort of like I can picture how the brand is going to come out and lead it towards that, but my technical skills in creation aren't that great. And I think from that, my passion has been I would love to like build a studio because I think for a lot of reasons, I would love to like make cool shit and have a good time doing it. And I've worked in some like amazing places like non-design related, and they've been incredibly like stimulating and fun environments. And I'd love to be able to like foster that for other people as well. And it's just kind of like I'm at this stage now where I know the kind of work I want to make. I've kind of seen behind the scenes of like how how the sausage is made, you know what I mean? Like, and it's that sort of like battle now, like, shall I wait, hold it out until I have more refined skills and everything, or just take that kind of like shortcut, you know? Like, how long shall I wait, like, hoping that I get through these doors of like larger agencies and like all the big names, as opposed to just kind of like making your own door to walk through, you know?
Yeah. I just talked to someone about this, like right before this call, which is funny.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like my answer. But it's funny, we were sitting at lunch yesterday and I was on TikTok and someone was getting interviewed of like, how do you make it in comedy? And the guy's like, oh, it's really crazy. It's like, you could go viral, you could do all of these things, like all these shortcuts. He's like, the best way I figured out how to be like a very famous comedian was like, years and years and years of just really hard work and just continuing to sharpen your craft. He's like, that's the hack to get famous really quickly. And I think that's true, right? Like I don't think you should take a shortcut. I tried that at your age, position, time and career.
Yeah.
Not about age, it's about time and career. I tried that, failed. Then I got a real job. I worked somewhere, tried it, tits up immediately. Because I was like, didn't know what I was doing, that's fine. Got a real job, tried it again, tits up. Got a real job, did some stuff on the side for a while. Okay, it was starting to work. It wasn't like a full-time job. It wasn't enough to hire people. Continued just working in agencies and going through that. And then finally, after a while, it clicked. Because throughout the career, like it's pretty linear, right? Like junior designer to middle to senior to DD to CD, and then onward. You hit it. I hate like someone who wants to start a studio like you, like hit a ceiling where you're like, what am I gonna like? I was interviewing for ECD jobs, but then what am I doing? Like it's kind of the same thing ultimately in a system versus taking on stuff that I would actually be doing. So I didn't love that kind of the next rung of the ladder, which felt weirdly like the final rung, that and like CCO. But I kind of went through that whole thing and learned. And over time, as a junior, you really learn the craft. The middleweight, you're like refining your craft. The senior, you're extremely good at your craft and you're starting to kind of like influence the rest of the team. And there's a lot of things in between all this and being very like broad. Design director, you don't know how to manage, and you figure out on the fly how to manage and how to manage people, but also how to manage projects and how to manage people and projects at the same time. And then you get to creative director, and then you're managing the managers, but you're also managing up and everything else going on in the business with the strategy side and whatever. So you're learning how to manage. You're learning how to manage the projects, the work, both internally and externally, how to manage clients. You're learning how to manage people, personalities, manage other types of people, strategist, account people, operations admin people. There's a lot of things that happen that are kind of intangible unless you're working in an agency. It doesn't have to be a big agency, but it has to be like an office of people, right? A studio of sorts. So, and I think that that's extremely valuable because when it comes to you're running your own thing, you're dealing with a client, you know how to handle them, right? Like I heard this somewhere recently, but like the best skill that you could have is how to talk to people, how to get along and talk. I feel like that's like a Scott Galloway quote, which like he's getting controversial with his bullshit on. He's got this whole thing where brand is dead, which is absolute bullshit, and he's all over camp talking about it. I really liked him up until then, but he, it was him or someone else was like one of those kind of kooks on Instagram being the best thing, the most valuable thing you could do is talk to people and talk to people in a boardroom, which I actually think is very insightful because you're not going to fucking agree with them. And if you do agree with them, you're probably not the right person to be sitting in that room with them, crafting work for them. And it's that tension that you have with the client, with your employees, with your team members, with anyone else within the agency, I think is learned over time. I'm not saying you seem like a very lovely person. I'm sure you can get along with anyone, but I think it's like the skill of like when the work is involved and how to maneuver that and how to basically sell your work or sell your agenda or whatever. I just think it's really nicely learned there. And then from a skill perspective, this is what I was just saying to someone else on the call is you sure if you have a bunch of money and you're willing to lose a bunch of money to hire a bunch of people to maybe take on the clients and maybe you have incoming clients, whatever, that'll be great and you can set up a nice little shop. But for free, to get paid and do it for free, you can go to an agency and you're plopped into a team and you learn from everyone else. So I think what's really valuable is like learning from others. I mean, even I own the company and I still learn from everyone in the studio every day, literally. Will is our most junior. He's not a junior designer, but the most junior person on the team, who sits to my right here. He's not here right now. But I literally 5 times a day poke him and say, how do I do this? And he shows me how to do something. I mean, I'm like very, very, way more senior than he is, and he's teaching me kind of rapidly. So it's very valuable to be in a studio, in an agency, in an office with a bunch of different people working together. It's going to make you better. And I think doing that for a while will really teach you a lot of things. It feels weird. I think I only kind of can see that looking backwards. I know that's probably not the advice you want. It's like, you probably want like, go fucking start a studio. Hell yeah, you'll kill it. Sure. I don't think that that's the right move. I think you beat to death your day job, learning as much as possible, earning as much as possible. And one day it will click and you won't have any other option. If this is something you really want to do, you won't have any other option but to go start it. That's where I got to. I was like, I don't know what I'm like. I've exploited everything. It's now time to go do it. And then it was really fucking hard and it felt like starting from scratch. And I feel like every day, 3 years in, it still feels like you're starting from scratch kind of every day. So it's basically you burn out a full career and then start a new career doing something different. But that's my advice. I think that's the move because you're gonna learn. Yeah. You need to learn. And I think it's like we all want to we all think we're great, which we are, but we're not as good. We're better in a group. And I think like fostering that first. And you're saying like you want to create a space for all other creatives. Do that in agency. Be a really great, work your way up and be a really great design director. And you can do that not as a design director, but get to that point and figure that out and learn on. Basically, what I'm saying is learn on someone else's dime.
Yeah. No, and I totally get that.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. No, yeah, I completely, because that essentially is my hunch. And I think I do still stand by what I said. I do want to make this creative space where people can enjoy. But my hunch also does tell me that I do feel very new to this. And I ultimately what I'm seeking and craving right now is growth. It's just more now I understand that I have to also accept that growth may not come immediately. I may not get into the rooms that I want to be in just right now. And I think that's something that I struggle with as well, because essentially I work in brand strategy now, but I also, being a small studio, I take care of the strategy side of things. And I also work in the design kind of things. But ultimately, similar to like what you're saying about being in a room and being able to ask other people, I can pitch in here and there on the design, but I don't think I could execute it like fully to the same standard that other people can. But that also kind of like hinders my path like into agency as well, because strategy is what I consider it quite hard, because you don't need as many, or maybe I'm wrong, you can correct me. I don't think you need as many strategists as you would do like designers. So I feel like the opportunities come a lot less like frequently.
I think that is the reality of the marketplace, but I think that is the wrong approach personally. I think the best situation, if an agency can afford it, my view on strategy. Best situation if an agency can afford it is like, the copywriter art director duo of the olden days in advertising. Olden days, like literally like 20 years ago, it kind of went to die.
Yeah.
That I think should be a strategist and a creative at all times. And our team is a lot smaller. We can't afford to have all half strategists, half designers, just because of the workload. So it's a strategist as a part of the design team that's kind of linked together really closely, and they're there all the time. So yes, I think strategists are extremely important. I think, yeah, sure, it's harder to get a strategy job just because there are less. And I feel like everyone's a fucking strategist these days. It's like the new creative director. Everyone wants to be a creative strategist. I hate it. It's garbage. You're either a strategist or you're not. There's multiple different kinds. Again, like you don't have to have the full-time job being in the office. Long-term contract work at these bigger agencies will teach you a lot. Right. I talk about Christian Shepherd, designer. I think he's at Turner Duckworth, runs a podcast that you might know. But I always use him as an example because he really wanted to break into New York and break into bigger agencies and couldn't figure it out. So what he did in London, I believe, did 3 months at some big ones in the space that he wanted to be in. So like JKR, Turner Duckworth, Pearl Fisher, those kind of places, and just did 3 month for a year. And then you look at his LinkedIn and you're like, oh damn, this is like an agency guy. This wasn't an agency guy a year ago, right? Like, and then you went to 4 different agencies that are similar but very different. Me being at Design Bridge and JKR, they're apples and oranges. Same work. Same, generally the same type of thing, but like the operations is like so different. One's owned by WPP, one's independent. One's far larger than the other one, and in New York, whatever. And you just learn. Again, you'll learn a lot from there. So I think that that's probably a good route to go down.
But how would you go about trying to get one of these like roles then?
Start bugging people. It's hitting up friends that are working at big agencies. Hitting up anyone that's working at agencies. Honestly, as a strategist, start following like I would literally take a list of agencies. You know who's really good? Bram Naus, the homie, designed our website. On his site, he has a thing called Designer Index for anyone. But let me go back. Let's see. I think it's this, right? Designer Index, design agencies. And he goes by Europe, the Netherlands, and the world. It's crazy. So New York got everyone, all the like ones he looks up to really likes in New York, which is crazy. Netherlands, which is really nice too. Europe. Oh, this is a little broken
No, but that's
there,
fantastic
right?
though.
So you can kind of like I would take this list, pick like the places I guess relative to you.
Yeah, no. So you're saying like kind of go into that and then find all the places where I see myself kind of like aligned with.
You have 6 right here, right? Also like Lo Ciento. I don't know if they're still an agency. I like loved them back in like 2010 when I was in college. I wanted to work there so bad. They were in Barcelona. They just did like really cool like Euro stuff that like we weren't getting in the States.
Yeah.
So dig into there, find their strategy directors and everyone below them, even the junior strategists. Become friends with them on LinkedIn, send them emails. I'm looking for roles. I'm looking for freelance. I could do anything, project, contract, whatever, and just politely bug the shit out of them. I'm sure something will stick. And just set up calls. Be like, hey, love the chat. I do believe hitting that more junior person will just be like, yo, this person's cool. Like, I want to work with them. We should bring them in if we need freelance. It'll take a minute. It's not going to happen overnight, but slowly you'll become kind of known. And they'll like remember you when a project drops. And I think going to slightly like higher middle to larger agencies will be really valuable because they're going to have more projects more frequently and need to hire in people. Mm-hmm. And then get a recruiter too. I normally hate recruiters personally, but like it might be worth getting a recruiters and seeing like how you can, if they can squeeze you in anywhere. I can give you some names. Follow up with me. I'll give you some names. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. I know a bunch of UK people that'll be good. And then maybe they'll find something for you, right? Like I think cast a wide net and see. But because you're a strategist and because it's not as easy as just like sending a portfolio over and like people reading it, you got to get people to read it. I don't read anything, right? Like I don't have time to like sit and like read through your case studies and stuff. I'm probably just like looking at it quick, being like, yeah, that'll do. Calls, just talking, being in front of people, even if it's like this, 15 minutes with some junior strategist at Widen, great. They'll remember you. You can at least get your ideas across and be like, this is how I think, this is how I work, whatever. And I think that'll go a long way and really like build the trust then, and they'll remember you when they need help. Yeah. It's a long game. No. I give the example of the illustration cards. So back in the day, I used to make, in college, they made us do this. You used to make postcards where you'd print one illustration on the postcard and you'd like hand write and put a stamp on it and send it to every art director at every magazine, New York Times, whatever. And it's very valuable because they remember you. It's a physical thing, whatever, but it's like, it's a way to get in front of someone. It's direct mail advertising basically. But some illustrator basically sent it to the guy at the New York Times. 9 years later, got a call being like, oh yeah, I have your postcard. Like, I'd love for you to work on this illustration. He had it on his corkboard for 9 years. It's fucking insane. Yeah. It's all long leads. So like all of it's worth it to get in front of these people and to chat with them. So even if it's like the most junior person, you don't know when they become strategy director 9 years from now at Wyden and Kennedy, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, call Dave. Yeah. David. No, you're right, man. Yeah, they all work just fine, man. But yeah, no, that is true. And I think like, I do believe that if you like truly like love this like craft, you do have to accept that you gotta get stuck into it and enjoy along the way, which is, I think that's like a key lesson, that you gotta enjoy what you're doing. And I think that's also part of like what I was showing as well, is that I know I'm doing the right things, but I'm not necessarily in the right place. So maybe it's about accepting that there are more steps than just saying, oh, I've seen it, now I can make it, you know? But there are more steps. Trust me, I've fumbled along the way thinking that I could skip the steps. Yeah. Hard. Lost money along the way, you know? Yeah. I'm not there yet, thankfully. Yeah. But no, man, that does provide a lot of clarity. And I think as well, like it's good motivation, I think, to really sit down and think about, I already know what I want, but finding other people that align with it is the best way to move forward. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think go to work. Keep working is the move. Work with other people, meet people, expand the network. Make the widest possible network you can, because when you do go to start things, you just have everyone to tap into, and then you have everyone. The trust is built within that network too. I know this sounds like fucking those dudes on Instagram who like have 5 days within one day, and it's like your network is your net worth shit. But it is though. It's like it is a relationship business. Yes, it's a craft business, but like it is a relationship business. So whether that be on the client side or the designer, strategist, account operations side of things, it's equally as valuable, if not the most valuable part of the industry and job. Yeah, no, you're right, man. And I'm seeing that now, even just from this conversation, like I've already gained enough, you know? Good. I'm glad. But yeah, let me know. I'm happy to introduce you to whoever, make connections if I have any to, for freelance and shit like that.
I appreciate it so much, honestly.
Yeah, totally.
Like almost like what you're saying about reaching out to people, like genuinely, I'm like a LinkedIn whore. I'm in like everyone's DMs, like messaging everyone, and it's nice to have someone actually like have the time, you know,
Oh yeah.
to shout out. So I appreciate it massively as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.